a Juan CL presentation. The following voices are AI generated. We hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, let's dive into the glorious, or not so glorious, realm of live-action Mario. First up, the legendary, and I use that term loosely, 1993 film.
Oh, I'm so excited! I've heard so much about this one! It was the first movie based on a video game.
Mario and I joined in this video since we wanted to do reviews as well. I remember this one! It was an experience!
Tell me about it. They cast a British man and a Latino to play us in the live-action film. Even though they did well together, they understandably hated doing the movie.
Behind the scenes, it was an experience in wasting time, since it has constant rewrites and changes in the storyboards and concept arts.
Let's analyze the core components! The plot deviated significantly from the source material, opting for a dystopian, reptilian-ruled world like in Blade Runner, but with humans evolved from lizards instead of apes.
Reptiles? Where are the warriors? This is an insult to combat. Aside from the police protecting the president or king, there was no army unless you count the humanoid lizard people.
Oh, honey, combat is the last thing this movie delivered. More like awkward dancing and questionable fashion choices since it was made in the early 90s. Let's rewatch the movie and tell the fans our opinion.
1 hour and 43 minutes later.
Talk about a letdown, yet the film has its own unique charm. As a Mario movie, it's bad, but as a film, it's cheesy yet edgy and goofy at the same time. I mean, look at King or President Koopa's hair. It's like a rejected punk rocker as a politician.
I wonder why the princess had to be Daisy. Back in 1993, Daisy was only known in the Game Boy game Mario Land. I guess they had to have Peach in the sequel if the movie didn't bomb in the box office.
I have mixed feelings on the visuals and designs. The Goombas, those were terrifying. They're supposed to be like brown turd-looking mushrooms, not giant lizards with tiny heads.
Our live-action selves weren't exactly dressed like plumbers either. Sure, they knew how to use the tools, but they looked more like interdimensional electricians.
The dialogue was hilariously atrocious at times. The special effects, even for their time, were hit and miss.
Technically, the CGI was limited, and the animatronics were ambitious. At least Yoshi looked okay. He may not have looked cute like he does today, but he makes a great pet dinosaur.
This movie was an insult to plumbers and video games alike. This is why Nintendo has higher standards than Sega with stuff outside of games.
I might get cold feet for saying this, but I gotta be honest, it's so bad, it's almost entertaining. In a train wreck kind of way, or the kind you'll love after smoking pot with Silver or Alice.
Wait, who's Alice?
Alice is a new friend I met a couple of weeks ago from England. I suggested her to be in a video, and she told Rouge, Knuckles, and Tails about smoking weed after their review.
That sounded like fun. But anyway, the live-action Mario movie is hated, but it has a lot of guilty pleasure moments that make some of us enjoy it while others hate it.
Yeah, and Knuckles is right, that Nintendo didn't want to have other companies do anything with their franchises. A Metroid movie was canceled after the failure of the original Mario Bros. Movie.
At least it inspired me to be with Daisy. Aside from being my caddy in one of the early golf games, I didn't get closer to her until the N64 era.
As for King Koopa, who should have went by Bowser, he was basically the orange dictator. And Dr. Evil put in a blender instead of a turtle dinosaur dragon-looking thing.
Ha! That's the best comparison I've heard in a long time!
And instead of Toad looking like a dwarf-looking mushroom person, he's a guitar-playing humanoid lizard that turned into a Goomba that helped Daisy escape from King Koopa.
The plot of the movie itself started with a stiff animation of the dinosaurs being wiped out by a meteor, and it shows that there's an alternate dimension where the dinosaurs actually survived and evolved into humans, like how apes and monkeys evolve into humans.
We then see a woman taking a baby into a church, and it turns out the woman is Daisy's mom, who escaped the dinosaur dimension into the real world, but King Koopa followed her because baby Daisy has a piece of a meteorite that can merge both worlds together. Also, since they're lizards, baby Daisy was in an egg.
It's surreal seeing a human baby hatched out of an egg since we're used to humans going through the birth process, but Daisy and the lizard people lay eggs unlike the primate humans. Many years later, we see the Mario brothers looking for work as plumbers, and they got a job. After dealing with problems along the way, Luigi meets Daisy, who's a New York University archaeology student. And she shows him she's been excavating for dinosaur bones under the Brooklyn Bridge.
We find out that our live-action selves have a rival company, and the leader is Scapelli. The cronies of Scapelli messed with the sewer pipes, and our live-action selves fix it. But Iggy and Spike, the dumb henchmen and cousins of President or King Koopa, who's illegitimate leader of the other dimension, kidnap Daisy after mistakenly kidnapping other girls, including my live-action self's girlfriend, Daniela.
We were puzzled why Mario's movie self has a girlfriend that isn't Peach, but Daniela does remind us of Pauline without her red or pink dresses.
The plumbers pursue them through an interdimensional portal to the lizard world Dino Hatton, where they lose track of Daisy and her necklace, which is stolen by Big Bertha, the bouncer of a local nightclub.
Big Bertha is supposed to be a giant fish in the third Mario Brothers game on the NES, but this one is a big woman.
Daisy found out she's descended from dinosaurs, and the long-lost princess of the other dimension, her father, the king, was de-evolved by Koopa, who used to be a general in the king's army, into a fungus that has since spread across Dino Hatton.
Daisy's mother, who was the queen, took her to Brooklyn, only to be crushed to death when the portal was sealed. Iggy and Spike realized that they lost Daisy's necklace, which contained a fragment of the meteorite that can allow it to merge the dimensions. Kinda random, the filmmakers went with one of the Koopa kids and a small enemy from the games and turned them into bumbling sidekicks of the villain. They weren't even funny.
I think it was because there wasn't enough in the budget to show the other classic enemies in live-action form, like the Koopa Troopas, Lakitus, Boos, and every other enemy fans were familiar with at the time.
Back to the movie. Spike and Iggy believe that only Daisy can do the emergence because of her royal heritage. Our live-action selves broke out of the city's local prison and go to rescue Daisy, aided by the fungus as well as Toad.
Like we said earlier, Toad in this movie is a good-natured guitarist instead of a mushroom person who was de-evolved into a Goomba, a semi-humanoid dinosaur instead of a poopy-colored mushroom we're familiar with, as punishment for his protests against Koopa.
Daisy's own escape attempt is aided by Yoshi, a pet of the royal family, and Iggy and Spike, who decide to turn on Koopa following their cousin's attempt to enhance their intelligence by evolving them since they were already stupid.
While Luigi rescued Daisy, Mario went and saved Daniela and the other girls mistaken for the princess. While that was going on, Koopa's jealous girlfriend Lena, played by Harry Potter's mean aunt, unsuccessfully tried to murder Daisy, then obtained the fragment with plans to overthrow him, but was killed when she merged the dimensions.
The dimensions merged, and then in Brooklyn, Koopa attempted his takeover by turning my live-action self into an ape. But he missed and went for Scapelli instead, who turned into a little chimpanzee. But the live-action Luigi and Daisy removed the fragment from the meteorite and the dimensions separated again.
Speaking of the chimpanzee, Koopa made a goofy line and said monkey, and everyone who witnessed it laughed.
Our live-action selves then got handheld de-evolution devices from Toad and used them to defeat Koopa by de-evolving him into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is the closest thing to Bowser from the games, but then he turned to primeval slime, and it's like a gooey prehistoric soup for the fish before dinosaurs existed.
Daisy's father was then evolved back to normal and regains his position. And the citizens celebrate and immediately destroy anything involving Koopa. I bet it'll be what the Earth humans will react when the Orange Dictator either rots in prison or is unalive.
Daisy decided to stay in Dino Hatton and kissed Luigi goodbye as she opened the portal for him and Mario to return home. Even Yoshi and Toad showed up to say goodbye. If they looked more closely like they did in the games, it would have been nicer.
But then, 3 weeks later, the Mario brothers are heralded as heroes as seen on TV. Daisy showed up at Mario and Luigi's apartment in Brooklyn and asked them to help her on a new mission. The movie ends on a fucking cliffhanger with no explanation. Why did Daisy have a flamethrower? Her clothes were singed and burnt.
The movie bombed at the box office and had a lot of competition that year. Not to mention, the movie was made at a time when dinosaurs were everywhere in movies and TV shows.
As much as I want audiences to check out our properties, I'd suggest Jurassic Park is a better option if you're into dinosaur movies.
Speaking of Bob Bomb, that item was the only faithful thing that was in the movie, as King Koopa said the item in a goofy way, just like Monkey.
Let's play them back to back just to show how hammy those lines are.
Monkey, 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 monkey.
Who knew the villain could be so evil yet goofy? It's no wonder our franchises have a lot in common.
Also, longtime fans may already know this, but Bowser was always known as King Koopa in Japan, while the rest of the world, he's Bowser. However, in the DiC cartoons and live-action movie, he's Koopa.
Overall, the 1993 live-action Mario movie has been considered a failure, both critically and financially. We had to wait 30 years for another chance to see the Italian plumbers on the big screen, but this time in animated form.
Now, let's move on with the animated Mario movie from 2023.
Hold on a second. I want to join. And I brought Shadow and Knuckles with me. I always wanted to meet the Mario brothers.
Sure, movie Sonic. I heard something. It's a text from the boss.
What did she say? I hope it's an update on our future appearances.
She wants the Hedgehogs to do a gameplay video right now. Sorry, guys. Sonic, Shadow, and I gotta go fast.
Before we leave, we agree with everyone's opinion on the animated movie. Now, Blue and Pink Hedgehogs, let's get back to our game room.
Bye, guys. We'll see you all at the parties.
These 4 kids hedgehogs are a lot more cheerful than I thought. Even my counterpart is happy.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to seeing multiple Sonics and others having fun with the videos.
Anyway, it's nice to meet you, Mario. We both have movies, and you got a sequel coming next year, right?
That's right! And you have a 4th movie coming out the year after. I heard fans want us to have a movie together like a Smash Brothers movie or something that can have us together, that isn't the Olympics.
And if Paramount and Universal don't make a crossover between 2 iconic game franchises in movie form, there's always this channel where we could have our own adventures.
Awesome. Juan CL or any other channel can have a Smash Brothers movie, but we'll have to find out who can voice everyone else, like Samus, Link, Fox, and all the other Nintendo characters.
The Fox? I thought he was a Sega character. Since when did he become a part Smashing of Brothers?
I think Sonic was referring to the Space Fox from Star Fox Knucklehead. We should go and review the animated Mario movie.
1 hour and 32 minutes later. Oh boy, I love this one. It was so colorful and fun.
It was a bit closer to home, wasn't it? By the way, we always sounded like Chris Pratt and Charlie Day when we're not in the games. That's why we only speak in falsetto Italian accents when we're doing commercials and being in the games.
This movie was much closer to the games than the live-action 90s movie. I even got to be a hero in the end, but I didn't get the girl. But we'll see what happens in the sequel.
The animation was excellent. The integration of classic game elements was seamless. I'm jealous that my movies haven't gotten the chance to be fully animated, aside from a couple of short films like the Christmas one and the Drone Home one.
The battles were acceptable. I would have instantly battered that Bowser fiend. Unlike the Mario games, Sonic characters don't rely on items as much, besides the wisps from the Meta era and the shields and Chaos Emeralds, but the Mario brothers and their friends use a lot more items than we do.
I thought the film was adequate. Maria would have loved this movie, as she was such a film snob when we used to be together.
Okay, it was actually pretty good. The voice acting was spot on at times, and the visuals were stunning. Movie Shadow might still be dazed from surviving the Eclipse cannon. He sounds a little funny.
Yeah, it's the head trauma since he fell on his head, and sometimes thinks a lot about Maria in a tense way, but thankfully, he's been in therapy with the other Shadows, and he's been thinking happy thoughts because of watching movies. That's why he's calmer and willing to be in the channel more often.
Okay, let's talk about the animation. I gotta say, Illumination really stepped up their game. It didn't look like their usual stuff like the Minions or any of their other generic kids' movies. It had a real vibrant, almost game-like feel.
The rendering and character designs were exceptionally detailed, surpassing their typical output. But some fans didn't like the unique redesigns, but a lot of them loved how Donkey Kong looked.
And the colors, so bright and cheerful. It just felt like you really were inside a Mario game, almost like if Gems and Jewels vomited up eye candy and other kinds of sparkles, such as Rainbow Road.
I appreciated the combat sequences. Donkey Kong utilizing those power-ups, even though it's not strictly canonical like the Fox said. It was a welcome surprise.
What I really loved was how they portrayed the bond between Luigi and me. It felt real, you know? Like actual brothers.
We were a team, and I wasn't just scared all the time.
And let's not forget Bowser. Oh my goodness, that Peaches song. Who saw that coming?
Seriously, Jack Black absolutely nailed it. That was a show stealer.
It was surprisingly emotional, in a weird Bowsery way.
It had a certain theatrical flair. I myself learned the piano by the Robotniks when I was free from Prison Island.
That Peaches song has been stuck in my head for weeks. When we first saw the movie, and now it's stuck again. Kick my skull, hedgehogs.
It's okay, Knuckles. It's just an earworm and not an actual worm. It happens all the time, and the internet is to blame that this song, along with plenty of other songs that went viral.
The plot isn't really complex like the live-action movie. It's just about Mario saving Luigi from Bowser and having Peach and Toad by his side. In fact, there's a few elements that are very similar, such as the Mario brothers living in New York and being heroes on TV at the end of the movie.
There were so many Easter eggs and references, such as the GameCube startup, as a ringtone, Mario playing Kid Icarus, and the original DK rap when Donkey Kong first arrived. For a dumb reason, Cranky Kong isn't as old or wise like in the games of the Banana Slammer.
There were also new elements, such as the rest of Mario and Luigi's family, and bringing back an obscure character, Foreman Spike, from the Wrecking Crew game, and he's not the Spike enemy neither.
The fact that the kart racing and encountering the Kongs is already a sign that our movie is building up a bigger movie series.
I mean, if the actors want spin-offs of me, DK, or Princess Peach, then you know it's bound to happen. Our franchise is full of memorable characters, and we gotta say, for our first movie in animation, it's okay, but let's hope the sequel expands the formula and brings in my girlfriend Daisy.
No doubt, Luigi, I'm very proud of you plumbers for your movie making a whopping $1 billion at the box office. Not only did it become one of the highest grossing films of 2023, but the highest grossing movie that's based on a video game. Just recently, Sonic Movie 3 is in second place. 3.
To think that video game movies were once dead on arrival ages ago. But thanks to Sonic, the Plumbers, and Pikachu, video game movies are good again.
I'm satisfied that the princess didn't need to be saved like 1,000,000 times before. She became a fighting warrior princess with Mario.
Speaking of Princess Peach, how's everyone else at the Mushroom Kingdom at the moment?
My Peach is doing great. She's busy being the ruler and all. She'll come visit at some point later this year. Toad is busy being a treasure tracker, so our cousins Wario and Waluigi aren't stealing anything.
As for Donkey Kong, he's upset and jealous that we beat him for joining the channel, as he wanted to be there first and is now moping in sadness. I wonder where he could be.
Once I was the ape of the hour, they think I'm a coward, an absolute zero. I'm nobody's hero, an absolute zero. I'm nobody's hero, I'm nobody's hero.
That big ape will come around eventually. He's got daddy issues, and so did you, Mario.
Yeah, and Cranky Kong is actually DK's grandpa, not dad. His dad is Donkey Kong Jr., so technically the Donkey Kong I met in the movie and spin-off games is DK the Third.
Donkey Kong Jr. is the Uncle Bruno of the Kongs. They don't talk about him. Oh, no. They never want to speak of him.
It's possible our boss and channel mascot Rosalina will also be in the sequel since a blue Luma was a prisoner in the movie.
Maybe when there's a trailer for the second movie, we could have you plumbers join us in analyzing the trailer and predicting what will happen, like we did with Sonic Movie 3.
We're already planning on bringing back Shrek and SpongeBob in future videos since they got new movies coming out soon, and maybe we can introduce them to you. Our movie selves already met them.
That's awesome. There's a lot to do now that we're here. We got movies to talk about, new friends to meet, and so much more.
So 4Kids, Sonic, and the other hedgehogs are making a gameplay video, right? What's the next video with the rest of you?
Tails, Rouge and I will be back in April because we got lots of surprises for the fans, but what's not a surprise is preparing for Sonic and Amy's wedding as well as their adventure-era selves.
And so are the adventure-era counterparts of Tails and Cream. We're super busy, and the Chaotix will be reviewing the 2025 Elimination Chamber event.
As for me and the movie crew, we'll be reviewing the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie, since my original ugly design made a cameo in the movie.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. Luigi and I will join the Elimination Chamber review, as we also love a little wrestling, as we used to wrestle all the time growing up.
Mario would always put me in the sharpshooter submission move. I still feel like pudding when we wrestle. I think that should wrap up the review. Our live-action movie wasn't so good, but the animated one is better, but not a masterpiece.
So, overall, the 2023 movie was a huge win at the box office, but not critically. They nailed the animation, the characters, and even gave us a musical masterpiece from Bowser, but it's fine nonetheless.
It was a movie that felt like it was made by people who actually loved the games.
It was a great adventure, and I felt tougher by the end.
The film's success can be attributed to its faithful adaptation of the source material, combined with creative embellishments that enhanced the viewing experience.
It was a good fighting movie and had acceptable levels of combat.
It was a fun time, and a movie I would watch again, along with the Sonic movies.
Acceptable is all I can say.
Want to get cheese pizza, Shadow? We can stop at Little Mac's and get a few large pizzas just for you.
What do I look like? A buffoon? Of course I want cheese pizza. It's something that I desperately needed when I was in the third movie. I never got any since I was free from Prison Island.
Just like me with my grape withdrawal. We gotta go, plumbers. I'll see you at the alternate Sonic's wedding. I heard it's gonna be huge.
Mamma Mia, this is exciting. We're invited to a wedding that isn't a forced one between Bowser and Peach.
I'm glad Movie Shadow loves cheese pizza, just like the other Shadows. I was worried that he wouldn't like it.
You know the drill, guys. Go ahead and give this video a like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Remember to click on the bell so you won't miss new videos, and there's so many on the way. Check out our other videos as well.
And spread the word. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Stick around and stay tuned for more new videos. Mario and I will be in the next video with the Chaotix reviewing a recent WWE show. Who wants to say it?
I'll say it with a little Mario spin since this video has been about us. Next time, you'll say it, Lou. We'll see you all later. Peace out. Rock on and let's-a go.
This has been Juan CL